Today's episode was recorded at Alta Baja, a little market in Santa Ana, right on 4th Street. And my interviewee today was Maria. She goes by the Hot Tortilla on Instagram. It was a great interview because we talked about her time at Disneyland and the time she was fired, something that I can relate to. So check out this interview. Thank you for watching. What was your first job that you had listed?
I think I would have to look. Don't quote me on
Sure.
it, but I think it's I'm an art instructor at the Bowers Museum.
And then from there, you went to working at Dave & Buster's, right? Or like
Well,
somewhere
from there,
in there.
I was a counselor assistant at Santa Ana College. So I worked in the University Transfer Center, and I helped students, look
Figure their
into
way
different
out.
options to go to different schools. And then after getting all that experience doing events at the Bowers Museum, I applied to Dave & Buster's, and I started out as a server. That lasted like 4 months, and then there was an opening for marketing. Well, it wasn't marketing at that time. It was like street team or brand ambassador or something like that. I didn't have, that college degree that said I was great at marketing, but I had been living in the culture. I was a server, like I, interacted with everyone, and then they're like, but we really love your personality. So they had to split us 50-50. They hired a part-time college person, and then they hired me part-time, and I brought the creative. I was the front facing, and then there was like the back end doing the.
But it sounds like, looking at the amount of times that you were at, all of you were at all these places for at least 2 years, which is kind of incredible.
I like stability, but I also like moving the needle and like doing things that, are different. But whenever I join a new team, I'm like part of that company. I'm part of their success. Like their success is my success. So
You're like an employer's dream in that way, I think. They want you to be totally wrapped up in the company.
Yes, I don't know if that's done me any favors, like personally, but when I'm committed to something, like I'm passionate and I go all in, and that's something, I probably get it from my dad, or mom, they're so like hardworking, and they're just like, I always see them go above and beyond, and I can't see myself doing anything less.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think I like what you said about when you get into a place, you kind of try to make a route there and move the needle. Tell me about, what that thought process behind that.
I want to say, for me, like I never want to be in a place where I'm not challenged and I'm not growing or encouraged to be creative. It's so cliche. You're like, think outside the box, but it's like, no, the people that are not thriving personally, they're not challenging themselves or going, out of their comfort zone, or being fearless in a way.
I also noticed in your career that you you've done a lot of things in the city of Santa Ana. The majority of your work has been done either in Santa Ana or in the surrounding cities. Do you have like a close connection to Santa Ana? Can you tell me about that?
I freaking love Santa Ana. This is home. At the end of the day, like I come back here. Where do I spend my dollars? Here. Like the nightlife is great. The food is amazing. There's museums. When I was younger, I would joke around. Not really. I was being really serious. I was like, my city's so cool. We have museums. We have a science museum. We have a zoo. What other city has like a zoo around here? Santa Ana does. And that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Maybe last couple questions about community. How do you bring your appreciation for community to the place that you work?
Something like a really important core value to me when it comes to like the workplace and why I want to work there has to be inclusivity. Like if it's not an inclusive work area, then, I don't want to be a part of it.
Is that just as simple as like reaching out and talking to them and remembering their name and paying attention to them paying attention to them when they speak, or what goes into that?
It's more, I love people watching. This is like side note, but like I love reading people's signs. Like, you know, like you can tell if somebody's like, not really like brave
They're
to
anxious,
be like,
or
yeah,
they
they're
have
anxious.
something else they're thinking about.
Yes, I could be a talker, but I also like to listen. Like if you listen, you can find out that this person, like they're going through a really shitty divorce and they just need...
Man, just not even something normal. Just they're going through a divorce.
Yeah, and that's like bringing them down. Or then there's people that absolutely feel like they're just showing up to work, you know, just to pay the bills, and they absolutely hate it. And they're just showing up but not doing anything for themselves. And it creates this negative mindset. And I'm all about, okay, like let's listen to you, you know? I'm not gonna fix you, but let's try to have like, show me your perspective, and let's try to shift the mindset a little bit.
No.
You know, making the most out of, you know, your shitty situation. And I have experience doing that.
Okay.
I actually got fired once for being too nice
No way.
at the playground. Yeah.
Wait.
I
How
was
can you be
part
too
of,
nice at a playground?
because the restaurant right here.
Wait. So when you say too nice at your job, what was the situation?
That was the excuse they gave me. So
Oh, so it definitely wasn't that.
well,
You like slipped somebody some like
no,
extra drinks?
No, there was people at the beginning when that opened. There were like over like lines, people trying to get in. You could only get in if you had a reservation. It was like super duper exclusive. And there was apparently a couple or party, and I was like, oh, one more hour. Like, you know.
One more hour. That would be like, no more hours. I'm gone.
Well, what I would have said is like, I'm sorry you don't have a reservation. Leave. But I was hopeful. I'm like, you know, people take more or less time, you know, eating.
Sure,
and,
yeah. Maybe we could fit you in.
yes,
Go see a movie.
When you needed to be more direct and be like, no. But it taught me the power of saying no. That's an important lesson.
Okay, that's good. I like what you're saying there. What other things did you learn that you think you're like, you really turned into an asset now because you've learned the lesson?
Something I'm really good at is not taking no for an answer. And a really cool experience that I had just got my role at Disney, and like, who's not excited to work for Disney, right? The happiest place on earth. And you go through this class that's called Traditions. It's an 8-hour orientation class, kind of like behind the magic, you know, of Disney. Please don't say that's where you drink the Kool-Aid. No, that's not it. And I knew when I was sitting in that orientation class, I was like, one day I'm going to be that person that teaches this orientation, or that teaches traditions. It's what it's called. You know, you teach everyone all about Walt's legacy, and I always wrote about Walt in like 4th grade and 3rd grade. You know, when you have to write, do a project on an autobiography on someone. Like, I loved Walt Disney. Although I was 16 the first time that I went to Disneyland. But something I learned within like 3 months, they sent out this notice that's like, auditions to be a traditions facilitator. And I said, oh my goodness, I want to do this.
Here's my chance.
Let me do it. And the application, like they have all these requirements. It's not easy. Nothing's easy, right? Something you want. It's not easy. But I saw that minimum you had to be working for the company for 6 months, or I think it was a year. I'm not even sure at this time. But I was like, no, like this was my chance. Now I can't do it.
Because then all the roles are going to get filled, and it's not going to get open again till.
No, it's like this was during the 60th Diamond Celebration. So Disney was going to be needing a lot of new cast members.
The best of the best.
Yes. So here's what I did. I got that paper. I went into I was working at, the hotel, one of the Disney hotels, and I walked into the general manager of the hotel. And I said, I took in my application because they needed to sign off. When you audition to go to a different department, you need permission. So you go to the top. I'm like, I really want to do this. I know it says this. Like, oh, nope, look, the requirement.
The
no, it
rules
says
are.
the rules are this. No. So what do? I get on the phone. I try to contact, like, hey, who's in charge of this program? I want to talk to them. So I go talk to that person. I go through the entire audition process. They tell me, you know what? I told them, please give me the opportunity. Even if I don't get selected, this is something that I really want to do. And I just want to go through the practice. And one day when it opens up again, I'll do it. Like, we're going to let you do it. But just so you know, like, just so we're clear, we're going to give it, we're going to give it to somebody that meets all the requirements. So, and I said, you know what? It's like one of those, like, okay, I'll shake on it.
Yeah.
But I went through the audition process, and it's like auditioning for American Idol. There's like a panel. I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh.
There's like a panel of judges, which is like the top, VPs or all these leaders from across the resort. And I went through the process, and it's like an interview, and then you have to memorize a script and do it in front of like your entire competition.
Wow, and like deliver it in front of people. Oh my gosh, wow, okay.
As if you're doing the real thing. And it turns out, I get a surprising call back. There was something in you. We know you don't meet the requirement, but it'd be a loss if we don't take you.
We gotta have you.
Yes, so that little lesson, that little nugget, taught me, don't ever take no for an answer. If you want something that bad, you find a way. And I did that. And I'm really good at that. When somebody tells me, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, I go, I'm going to find a way.
Just to wrap up, where do you want to be? What's your ultimate goal? Because I saw you just at the top of your profile is you started working for the city. Is that something that you want to do?
Something.
What, yes or no? Yes, you want to work for the city, or like do it? Because if not, I don't want to go there. I want to know what your ultimate goal is.
Okay, so my side hustle is I want to be the voice of Santana. Like, okay. I want to be the person that people come to, like, okay, where do I go eat? Where do I go watch a play? Where do I go see art? Like, that's, I took over the Santa Ana Instagram for Savor Santa Ana. Like, I was like, oh, we're here, and interviewing people and, doing that journalistic run. My big goal, like, I actually have, this is so cool, I actually drafted up an action plan to finish my 30 units. I have 30 units left to getting my bachelor's at UCI in global cultures. So I didn't know this at the time, but it all has to do with like culture and art.
It's all connected. Those experiences that you had, those different facets running around the city in Santa Ana.
Yeah, something that and sometimes I'm like, is this a joke or is this real? Like, I have this little like tug, like, I'm like, maybe one day I will run for city office here in Santa Ana, because I feel like I can bring a new wave of leadership where it's, less on the politics, more on the people. And that's something that this city definitely needs. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll be like the next, city of Santa Ana politician.
Yeah, mayor. That's awesome. Well, you heard it here first. I got the first interview with the mayor of Santa Ana, the next mayor. That's awesome.
Female.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for letting us hang out here.
It was really a treat. Thank you.